Bhairava Kalaki Namostate. Om Namo Bhairavaya Namo Namah. Om Namo Bhairavaya Swaha. Shri Guru and Ishta Devata. Maa Kali. So forgive me if you find noise disturbances. I'm in a public space, but the topic for today's video that I wanted to address is how what is called guru or deity hopping, and also how competition in sadhana, how they're detrimental, and they're some of the worst ways to lose kripa very fast in this path, just because of how detrimental they are. So I guess let's begin by addressing. So let's begin by addressing how the deity may push you off first, and then deity or guru hopping. So simply put, deity hopping, we'll touch base with guru hopping a bit later down the line. Deity hopping is where someone gets into sadhana, of a specific form. They do the sadhana of that form specifically for a while. However, they shift completely away from that form to another one. There may be reasons for this, right? Though one of the most common ones being that all of a sudden their life is just, way too hard, or they don't find any experiences that they thought they would beget. The first possible reason out of these, I believe, is less of a cause for deity hopping, and I guess more possibly a reason why you still aren't ready for the path. As we know and addressed in the last video, there will be many times in Bhairava or Maa sadhana where you will get absolutely demolished by all the arrows of karma piercing you, usually for someone that has just gone along with the trend without a guru, or even if they have a guru, they've just jumped in the deep end. They'll find major hits starting to come, or multiple tiny hits starting to come and piling up. Quite often in this scenario, this utter destruction and nakedness they experience with all the problems coming at them is often too much to bear. So they'll simply go back in a way to a more Somya path or more Somya forms of deities. Either this is because they aren't ready for the path, right? Bhairava is very active and will push you off the path should you not be ready for it, or they don't have this, what I like to call, warrior mindset. Maa loves a warrior, right? All her sadhakas will take bhog of both suffering and pleasure, and through them she will take bhog of her creation. She will build you in such a way where you often find yourself in the worst situation possible, but will still be determined to continue. Those who started off in the deep end without any knowledge may not just be karmically ready yet for the sadhana of Bhairava Maa. So they will usually go back and then build themselves until they're ready. Those that are already in the path, however, for some time, but quit, usually do so because they've never expected it to be that hard. They may end up switching between the forms, so praying to all forms, or constantly switch between the forms. Same thing can be said about those seeking experiences and quick fixes. The whole point of sadhana is not isn't for fixing troubles or like gaining siddhis or cool dreams and experiences. Yeah, sure, they're byproducts, but the main reason for all this is oneness, right? Just like how Bhairava walked alone for 12 cosmic years, so will the sadhaka undergo penance too, till their own skull that they hold will fall down at Kashi. Just like how Mahadeva drank the halahal when no other deity had the guts to do it, and then cried for Ma, who then came to soothe her child, so will the sadhaka take up suffering, burn karma from their bloodlines, and relieve others of their pain. Sadhana is for union. The whole clue of how your sadhana path lies at how your form, your Ishta, has lived their path, lived their life, and the lessons to be learned. You will burn, and that's the whole point. All you have to do when it gets hard, or you can't do anything, is just to keep surrendering and just keep walking. If you have to be useful in battle, then you as a sword will have to be hammered under heat and sharpened. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it will hurt, don't you think Mahadeva was like, with all that he's been through, right from when Mahasati died to the Halahal, don't you think he's been through a lot of pain? You don't think Sri Krishna was pain during the Kurukshetra? Every single drop of blood or pain that was spilt or was experienced was him. But he smiled through it. And he was also hurt when the final arrow came, when he was sitting under the tree. We aren't expected to be detached from the start. That's the whole point. Our job is to just keep going, surrender all the pains, and take bogas. We cannot control all external events, but what we can control is a simple mindset to keep pressing no matter what and progress step by step, right? Hold their hand and they will guide and they will talk to you every single day. Now we turn to guru hopping. Anytime one considers one person to be their guru, but then instead of committing with them, blindly goes from one person to another for a sustained period of time, is guru hopping. Usually people do this because, it's just as simple as they aren't getting experiences. They have no faith in the one that they call the guru, believe that they aren't getting some diksha into some mantra, or, are not getting access to some cool ritual. The worst and most ironic part about all of this is a guru is supposed to be someone who is a guiding light, who takes the sadhaka across the journey and helps them. Most answers to most questions don't even need to be given by the guru. Sheer grace from Bhairava will give the exact answer. All you need to do is sit in silence. Also, it's completely disrespectful to assume that a mantra or that a guru has given to you is of less potency. The mantras we chant, from a simple nama mantra to bija, are all embodiment of the same deity you are trying to become one with. It is absolutely futile, according to me, trying to compare mantras. Like it's comparing the deity to the deity. It just does not make sense. The absolute true and genuine guru will only give mantras or bijas or diksha if he believes that you, as the one coming to, for his guidance, the sadhaka, is ready for it and genuine enough. He can never be pulled into the money game by cunning foxes, right? Those foxes themselves will get burnt instead, trying to play with fire. So anything monetary will never work in this path, especially Ma's path. If the soil, right, the soul, the sadhaka, isn't even fertile already, then, what's the point of rushing and giving another bija or another mantra? No master farmer harvests a fruit before it's even planted or ripe enough. Sadhaka should have enough patience to sit, believe in his guru blindly, and despite however long it takes, chant the mantra given by the guru with full confidence that he's progressing, and do what the guru tells him to do. This attraction to new trendy gurus' charisma is also a problem. If someone makes sense to you, great, but then test his spiritual authority and wisdom. Don't just hop in the train, to later find out that they're just fake and they don't even make sense, or they seem mad to you. If the guru doesn't even align with you, then, well, that's a big problem, right? Be disciplined enough and have enough faith to sit with that one guru who has given you his prana, makes sense to you, and is holding your hand, or at least seeing your text and engaging with you in one form or another, right? Don't just bunny hop around, because they incur serious karma. Neither should one try to tame fire with money. Both the money and the person trying to pay the money will burn. If someone doesn't give it to you immediately, diksha, simply means you're not ready for it yet. So have the faith to recognize that the person you've called the guru actually cares about you. Right, now I think we're on competition. Assume you've now got a genuine guru, right? Have a sadhana practice a few months in. One of the first feelings to arise because of the samudra manthan happening within and shattering of egos and displaying your own soul to you, right? Naked soul without all of these identities, will be competition. Especially a beginner sadhaka will see, how others seem to be further away or further ahead, seem to be wiser, or access to all of these cool mantras and dikshas. That's one of the worst mistakes you can do. The habit of one-upmanship and competition is just so ingrained in us. Giving the analogy of students in a classroom setting, right? For example, imagine everyone has a test. Everyone will study, but the top student, trying to change their life for better, will compare his performance to only his performance. He will see what he did wrong and correct it. He will try to have a determination to work more. If a question's hard, he will do lots of practice. This might be a, hard mindset for him initially. So maybe he will develop this a few weeks later as he first does the work mechanically, whether he likes it or not, and then tries to be better than yesterday. Compare this to someone who wastes time lamenting, comparing scores with other people when he hasn't put in any work. Obviously, the one that competes with himself will exceed. It's the same mindset to be put in sadhana, right? It's not a competition with others. Who knows how far behind they are, how ahead you are, or how ahead they are, right? What you don't trust Bhairava and Maa that, should they decide, they will burn lifetimes of karma like this and become more experienced and wise and will make you more advanced in 1 year? Why do you care about, the other sadhaka when their life circumstances are different to yours? Instead, perfect yourself, right? Emulate love towards others, your deity, and your Ishta will always be with you. Correct yourself when you spot that you're going wrong. Even if you get knocked on the head by Bhairava and Maa, learn and follow the path that they've shown is better, right? So as for, trying to compete with other sadhakas, never belittle or pull one down or correct something when you see it may be working for him. You have no right to correct when you've only passed the first stages, especially when you don't know how the other sadhaka is or who he is. And as Guruji says, this is a sure shot sign, of your deity having left you already. You are no longer seeking, knowledge or union. You're seeking superiority. It's a Maya in sadhana. As soon as you think it's competition between humans, then it is, because deity has left. So I think that's it. I think I've addressed everything that I wanted to say in this video. Please be careful and, don't guru or deity hop. Have enough faith to stick around and not drown changing forms or gurus like there's some dress choice, right? Or some buffet. Don't compete with others either. Have control over this feeling, right? And that will only happen if you have faith in your guru and deity. That's all. Bhairava Kalaki Namostate. Om Namo Bhairavaya Namo Namah. Om Namo Bhairavaya Swaha. Jai Maa.